Salute, comrades. You're now tapped into Behind the Walls Talk. I'm your host and founder, BaronThomas McCallum Jr., the voice from within and soldier for the silenced. This isn't just a podcast. This is a platform, a battleground for truth, a microphone for the voiceless. We're here to amplify the stories of the incarcerated, the men and women whose voices have been buried beneath steel, stigma, and silence. Here, nothing is sugar-coated. The truths aren't ignored, erased, or rewritten. They're raw, unfiltered, and unapologetically real. Whether they're doing time for past mistakes or enduring the weight of injustice, their stories matter, and they will be heard. This is about more than exposure. It's about awakening. We exist to spark dialogue, ignite reform, and demand liberation. We're not begging for sympathy. We're building a movement. So stay tapped in, stay locked in. This is Behind the Walls Talk. Welcome to the revolution. Welcome, and thank you for joining us. Today is about your voice, your truth, and your journey. Before, during, and after incarceration, your story holds power, and your perspective matters. Let's begin. Can you tell us your name, age, and where you're from?
BaronThomas Jr. from Monroe, North Carolina.
And how old are you?
37.
37 years old. How much time did you serve, and what were you incarcerated for?
I did 5 years and 3.5 months for gun and drug possession.
Okay. And what helped you mentally and emotionally get through your time inside?
You know, having family support first, and then, you know, I met a couple solid guys, you know what I mean, while I was in there, you know, to keep my head level as well.
That's right. That's right, man. That camaraderie that you build behind these walls, man, that means a lot. You know, it helps us get through our days because we all going through the same struggles.
Exactly.
All right. When were you released, and how did that moment feel?
I was released in March of 2021, and the feeling was, I really didn't feel like I was going home, to be honest. You know, I felt like somebody was gonna be out there waiting on me to take me somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Just felt so real, right?
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. You know, I'm for real. Man, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't.
Yeah, man. I definitely, man. I sit back myself and I imagine the day when I'll be able to go home, man. And I just can't. I don't know, man. I don't know how I'm gonna feel. What my mind gonna be like, or what, I don't know. I'm just gonna sit there and just, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
It's definitely a feeling you're gonna definitely get the experience.
That's right. That's right. Hey, while incarcerated, did you ever participate in any programs, educational, vocational, faith-based, or if so, how did they impact your mindset or plans for the future?
And I ain't even gonna lie, like, I had a hard time getting into programs because, like, you know, for one, like, you know, once you get SRG, you know, that's, you know, how they treat you when it comes out of programs when that comes, you know what I mean? So I really,
yeah, that's right.
I never really got to do the programs that I want to do, like the heating and air and stuff like that I could benefit off of once I came home.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just maintained with what they gave me. You know what I mean? If you understand,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, man. But the thing about it is, when they label us SRG, they really disables us to being able to move forward, to be able to be rehabilitated to the extent in which they say that they trying to get us to.
Especially when you get SRG for something like that's not even right. You know what I mean? Just a hearsay. You know, I can see if I done something. You know what I mean? But I ain't even do nothing.
That's right. That's right. Was there a turning point moment during your incarceration that shifted how you viewed your life or your future?
Like, I ain't even gonna lie, man. I battled with a lot of stuff mentally, because you know for yourself the stuff I went through with my kids. I told you a little bit. So, like, man, That's what really had me like, I got to get up out of here. I got to do what I need to do to get up out here to my children. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, the children, man, that definitely changed your life, and that changed your views on how you see the world, see your future, see everything that's going on around you, man.
Had to let a lot of stuff roll off my back, you know what I mean? The stuff that I could let roll off, But
that's right. And that's me too, man. Right now, at this point right here, I realize myself that, at this point, I have to do time for my family, for my wife, for my kids, and for everybody that loves me and depends on me for when I get out there in society. That's depending on me right now.
Right.
I can't do time for myself no more. I got to do time for what's right.
Yeah, you got people waiting on you. They need you.
That's
present.
Right.
You know what I mean? Present in life form. It's not even just spiritual. You know what I mean? They need you in the physical.
That's right.
Oh.
How was your reentry experience? Did the system provide any meaningful support during your transition back into society?
Society didn't, they didn't help me with nothing. You know what I mean? I went and tried to get certain help with certain stuff. I didn't get no help. I'm not even gonna, if I didn't have myself set up where I had a cushion, I don't know what situation I would have went back to. Honestly. But I came home to a cushion. So, It helped me where, I could, maintain until I figured out.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
Maintain until I figured out what I wanted to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't get no assistance. I still don't get no. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I ain't been able to get no assistance. But I got my family though.
That's right. And then when you have those that don't have family, they come home to an unfortunate situation. They come home to nothing. And then when they come home to nothing, the chances of them reoffending is really highly likely to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I used to sit in there and wonder why people was coming right back 3 months. And I used to be like, bro, what you doing back? But, when I got out, I realized a lot. You can easily come back if you don't got the right people around you. It's easy. It's too easy.
That's right.
And I used to be looking at people like it was crazy when they came back on violation. But now when I came home and realized it's hard out here, trying to get your name back. You know what I mean? They always gonna hold you for whatever you previously done. You know what I mean? Out here, that black and white, it's always gonna be relevant in our life. You know what I mean? And I'm still dealing with it right now. I've been home almost 4 years, and I still get, I might not be able to get a job because something happened almost 20 years ago now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm on my.
What was the very first thing you did for yourself once you were free?
Man, you know what? I went and got all my kids. I rounded up all my kids, and they came and stayed with me. That's what I needed. You know what I mean? I ain't even gonna lie. That was the first thing I did. Went and got all my kids.
That's right. That's right. That's like a true father, man.
Yep. I went and got all of them, and I still got them to this day.
Let me ask you this right here, then. Based on your experience, what do you think are the biggest issues within the prison system that need to be addressed?
It's that one-hand policy, in a sense, if you know what I mean, them damning somebody for somebody else's, or treating you like somebody else should be treated for something. You ain't got nothing to do with what they done or how they acting, but you get damned for what somebody else is doing, in a sense, if I'm saying it correctly,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that, Like, say, for instance, a situation occurs within two individuals within the facility, they lock the whole facility down.
Right. Instead of just handling what they need to handle with the ones that need to handle it with.
That's right. That's right. I definitely understand what you're speaking about. Because, you know, that's an incident. That's really what's going on in close custody right now anyway, you know.
Right.
Incidents that are spurred up here and there across the state. So now they want to close down all facilities and all closed custody facilities and code 1 them. Got guys behind the door on 23 and 1.
Right.
Modified movement.
And how can you stay healthy? How can you stay healthy in that condition? You can't even circulate. You can't even move around properly to live and last. You know.
That's right. Can't get no rehabilitation. You can't even get no. Like you said, with health concerns, there's a lot of health concerns involved in this too as well, because you're dealing with guys that just sitting behind the door and they just eating, and the stuff that they're eating out the canteen, they're eating off these trays and everything. That's going to cause you to be a diabetic and cause you to have cancer.
Right.
Especially when you can't get outside and get no sunlight and get no air.
Yep.
So yeah, it's definitely detrimental upon your health, mentally, physically, and spiritually.
I ain't gonna lie, like I could tell the difference from when I came home from being inside of an institution for that long, how when I got out, how my body reacted to the air. Like, and I'm telling you, like, man, you gotta take care of yourself.
That's right. Right. I definitely myself have some difficulties coming out of close custody, coming back into the medial custody. I have some difficulties myself. I have some health problems, some health issues, and I'm really just not getting back on track with my health.
Right.
So, you know, I definitely understand what you're speaking about. Let me ask you, if you had the chance to speak directly to lawmakers or those in power, what would you say needs to change within the justice system?
To be honest, I would say they need to change themselves, you know, honestly.
Yeah.
That's the only way for change to happen, somebody change themselves, you know what I mean?
Could you explain a little bit more?
Like, far as, like, how they view people that made mistakes. Like, you know what I mean? Certain people hold on to stuff just to be able to use it, continue to use it, you know.
Try to use your past against you and continue to punish you as far as
right.
as far as you are within the system.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Like, when I was in there, they was like, you know, I made my greens and all that, but you know, for a long, they wouldn't even let me go outside because a report that was inside my file of something I wasn't even charged with, but I was charged with it, but I wasn't convicted. But the report had them, well, they wouldn't even let me get a job because they said I was a violent offender, and I wasn't even locked up for a violent offender.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying.
Hold on, my brother. Let me call back. Behind the Walls Talk will continue. Behind the Walls Talk continue with my brother BaronThomas. And Mr. Let me ask you this right here. Now, when we're speaking about the justice system and the laws and the lawmakers within the justice system, you know, I'm gonna tell you something, right? One thing that I feel like needs to be changed within the justice system is the structure series.
Right.
You know, on how they sentence brothers and everything, life sentences, giving brothers life sentences, things of that sort.
Right.
I think life sentences are cruel and inhumane.
It definitely are. Definitely are.
There's no charge where you can give somebody a life sentence, the rest of their life. You're going to sentence them to the rest of their life in prison. You know, but the thing about it is, and then you say this, you're giving somebody a life sentence when you're saying that your mission statement is rehabilitation and everybody deserves rehabilitation.
Right.
how can everybody deserve rehabilitation when you're not even trying to give them an opportunity or a second chance at society?
Exactly.
Whenever you're giving them a life sentence.
Exactly.
So those are definitely some things that the lawmakers need to take into account when they come to the table and they speak to each other. You know what I'm saying? Have these conversations about what needs to be changed within this justice system.
And it's a state thing. Like, you know, federally things are changing. It's just North Carolina. Right. It's just North Carolina so stuck in them old ways of, you know, like I said, you know how North Carolina.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
Bit off a lot of racism and oppression.
That's right.
So, you know,
let me ask you, are you currently employed? And so, what kind of work are you doing?
Well, I'm employed, but also I do security. You know, I breed dogs. You know, I still do my little courier service stuff. You know.
That's what's up.
So I'm staying active, staying productive. You know, I'm trying my best to keep negativity away from me as well. You know, because that's the only way. That's the only way I'm gonna make it.
That's the main thing, man. You gotta stay positive and stay focused. That leads me to my next thing.
I have my days though. Well, you know, I be like, you know, but you know, you gotta stay on course. You know.
That's right. What's your personal goals and life objectives?
Like now,
so you focus on the day.
I'm not now. My main thing is to make sure my kids got the best. I can give them the best opportunity I can. Like, you know, because I feel like I don't live my life in a sense. Like, you know what I mean? I don't have my chance to make it. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm just trying to make it to where they can make it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's my main goal, trying to make sure my kids is going to be good. You know what I mean? That's why I got life insurance policies and all that now. You know what I mean? So it's like,
that's right.
That's my main goal. I want my kids to be straight because it's tough out here, man. And it's only getting worse. You know, it's only getting worse.
Okay. How can communities better support people coming home from incarceration?
Can you repeat that again?
How can communities better support people coming home from incarceration?
Offer help. Stop turning. You know, because like me, I didn't get no help because I got a class H drug felony. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, you got people that still committed all type of other crimes, getting all type of help. But you won't give me no help because I got a class 8 drug felony, which that's wild to me. Like, you know what I mean? You know, like I said, that's another thing that's like these laws. It's wicked in a sense.
So how can communities better support those?
They need to reevaluate it. And for one, you know, like I said, it's people that got way worse charges that get all type of help, but you won't give help to somebody because they without basically in a sense of providing for their family. You know, doing what they had to do in a sense.
What is it that you feel they could have did better with you?
They could have offered me some assistance on just programs and, you know, stuff that I could have took to, you know, to better my life, you know, my situation.
Better position.
Right. But like I said, I had family, so like the stuff they didn't do or wouldn't help me with, I still had family where, like, you know, like, where I ain't really put no pressure to like make them or show me that they don't really want to help me. In a sense, I just quit and just, you know, I just did what I need to do. You know, I was like basically in a sense, like, you know, forget your help. You know, in a sense, like I just figured out on my own. You know. But like I said, I had support though. I got support out here, so like it kind of helped out. And everybody don't have that support.
Yeah, and it's terrible, man, that, you know, you can't even go out there and get no assistance. There's no programs and everything set up. They have reentry programs out there. They say that they're out there. They say that they have these reentry councils and that this is what they do and this is what they're about. This is what they offer. This is the support they can give. But they're not connecting themselves with the individuals that are incarcerated.
Right.
And that's where the problem occurs at.
It's people I know right now. Like it's a reentry house in Charlotte. It's some people in that house right now that literally been out for 2 and 3 years and ain't progress none. But it's like the house don't care because they getting them funded. You know what I'm saying? Like they not helping people that's just coming home. They helping out people that really don't want no help. They just using the system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you said the main thing right there, that funding. They're in it for the funding. And that's a problem. Because you got profit over people. You know what I'm saying? You got funding over the people. But when it's supposed to be about the people.
Yep. And like, I know a guy that be, you know what I mean? He in one of them reentry, and I be like, yo, how you keep getting in this program? Like, you know what I mean? You been out for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I call him out on it because, like, I don't been in there, and I know what it's like to come home and, like I said, if I wouldn't have had my cushion, I'd have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, yo.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
So what advice would you give to those still incarcerated, especially in terms of what they expect and how to prepare for life after release?
Man, go ahead and start planning now. Taking your notes and structuring everything that you need to do, like now, like so you can already have it to where like when you get out, you go back to it and read over everything and follow that order. Like honestly, like because I'm telling you, like it's so easy for stuff to slip out your hands out here. That's why you got to you gotta go at it. Like you got to like go straight at it. You don't wait, none of that, because it'll slip away.
That's right. Well, you hit that one on the money right there, boy. Let me ask you this right now, man. Like, what does freedom mean to you now after all you've been through?
Freedom. I'm happy to have my family. You know, I'm happy to have my kids, man. Like to be in the present with them. Like, but you know, I'm glad I can move around like I want to, but like I'm still kind of restricted in a sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm free, but I don't feel totally free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie.
Life is definitely a struggle, right?
Right. You know, cause like I don't went, like, you know, I've been doing what I'm supposed to do with my business and everything. It's like I still can't get no business loans, and you know what I mean. I'm still working to try to, and you know, like I said, I've been home 4 years now. I've been doing right. You know, I've been doing, you know what I mean. And I still can't get the things that you know what I mean, because they using my name instead of my, and that's what's so weird. They using my name with my business name. Like, you know what I'm saying? In a sense, like the business supposed to be able to stand on its own. But they still use my name, and that right there cancels me out automatically. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like,
they're using your name as far as your past history and everything.
And they using that against my business. So it's like,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
But and I, you know, like I said, you got to stay active, stay proactive, and keep putting pressure. You got to stay putting pressure. You know.
Hey, I know within a lot of the questions and everything, especially when you're speaking about home, speaking about being free and everything that means, it has some meaning to you. You speak about your children. At this moment, I want you to tell the listeners what your children, how many children you have, What's their names and how old they are?
I got 5. My oldest, he about to be 21. I got one, my oldest named Byron. And I got one named Jalen. He's 18. I got one named Caden. That's 14. And then I got one named Carter. He's 10. And then I got a daughter named Donnie. She's 6.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you this question. How has reconnecting with them been since you've been home?
It's been a struggle because like I said, bro, like my kids went through some stuff while I was gone. You know what I mean? Like they went through a lot. So like it's we still working to get to know each other. You know what I mean? They still ain't, told me everything that went on when I was gone. You know what I mean? But my kids went through a lot while I was gone, bro. A lot. And that's why I carry things the way I'm carried now. Like I ain't letting up. You know what I'm saying? Like we still fighting to try to, get things together. Like, it's every day. But they did time with me too, and they got hurt from me being gone. They got hurt by people because I was gone. You know what I mean? That's what really bothers me the most, bro. Like my kids, I wasn't there to protect them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm trying my best to do the right thing to where I can stay out here for them. You know what I mean? At least protect them as long as I can until they overprotect themselves.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I love that, bro. I salute you for that too, my homie. And what was your family's reaction when you came home?
And my mom was happy. My mom was happy. My brother, my little brother, he definitely happy. He used to be like my shadow growing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but my kids was happy. Of course, my daughter didn't know who I was because you know how she was made. You know what I mean? So she cried like crazy when I was trying to hold her for the first time. But
I know that's right, boy.
But, my mom would definitely had the same feeling I was. Like, you sure everything good? Like, you gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? Thinking that, hey, look, thinking somebody's gonna be out there waiting on me. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, because like,
you have 60 seconds remaining.
I was wild before I went in, man. I really was.
That's good, man. So you definitely had a positive reaction when you came home from the family, right?
I got to, my mom let me drive a car. She had just bought it, you know what I mean? She let me drive us home, you know what I mean? So I enjoyed that,
That's what's up. Hey, I will call back, my brother. Hey, Behind the Walls Talk will continue. Behind the Walls Talk continue with Mr. Thomas. Hey, my brother, what message would you share with young people who may be headed down the wrong path or find the life of crime intriguing?
It's all a trap. It's always been a trap for us. And there's other ways to do things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to learn these trades, man, stuff that's gonna last, stuff that can't be taken away from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me personally, that's how I feel. I feel like it's all about the trades, learning how to build, plumbing, electrical work. You know what I mean? Like stuff that can't be taken away. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right.
I don't really believe in the college thing. I feel like all that is a way to keep us down in a sense. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it's about the trades. Stuff that can't be took from you.
You feel like Booker T. Washington going against W.B. Du Bois. Because, that's what they was going through in their time. Them two came up together. And, Booker T. Washington, he believed in the trades. And, W.B. Du Bois, he believed in going to college.
Right. I believe college ain't another way to keep us in debt. you know, and when we can already be elevating by learning the trade and going ahead and getting out there, getting it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
You know, I was kind of like my son went to college. And, you know, at first I was kind of like, I wish he would have stayed to finish. But then I got to thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? He was like, Dad, I just want to make money. You know what I mean? I want to work and make money. And I get that because college don't do nothing to keep you in debt, stressed out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's right. And then it's hard it is hard when you coming out of college. You got a degree, but it's hard.
Exactly. You got basically a six-figure debt over your head that you got to clear out before you can even breathe, in a sense. You know what I mean?
That's right. So
all for a piece of paper. You know what I mean? That you got a degree.
Yeah. Yeah. You got people.
And that's why I feel so strongly about having a trade over a degree. You know what I mean? But the trade is something they can't take from it at all. You know what I mean? They can take your degree if you do the wrong thing. You know what I mean?
And then another thing about a trade is you can always find a job.
Exactly.
You know, whether in construction, plumbing, heating and air, electrical, whatever you're doing, you know what I'm saying, you can always find a job because all those things are always needed.
Yep.
Because the world is steady growing, the economy is steady growing, expanding, rising. You know, so those are trades you definitely are right about that. And like I said, I think Booker T. Washington was really hitting on something when he was speaking about that during his time. Salute to the brother.
Like I'm starting to realize, man, like, man, in school when I was growing, they used to always make us think the best jobs we would have was office jobs. The whole time we were being tricked in school, man. You know what I mean? We were being tricked. The way was learning the trade and getting out there building and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they tricked us in school. At least the era I grew up in, like that's what they were pushing on us. You know, you go to college, you get office. You know what I mean? Whole time, no, we were losing. We were losing our position.
That's right. You're definitely right about that.
And you look around now, out here, man, you don't really see none of us out here like construction, like electrical jobs, heating and air. Like, I'm telling you, man, like you don't see none of us out here like doing that type of stuff. Like we really got tricked out of our place. We really did. We really did, man. So that's why I'm pushing on my kids now. Like I ain't gonna lie, I've been teaching them all type of stuff. Like, you know, we be working on cars together. Like, you know, my oldest son, he think about wanting to learn how to do the vehicle wraps.
Yeah.
Trying to start wrapping cars. So like I'm in the process. I'm in the process now trying to find him a machine. Well, you know what I mean? Getting all the material where he can start doing that.
Okay. Start his own business.
Right. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. That's what it's about, man. Like, that's what it's about. At least that's how I feel.
Yeah. Oh, and I just came up with a good title for him, the Rap Team. WRAP, not RAP, but WRAP, the Rap Team. Yeah. That's all right. Yeah, they make sure these brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, they can learn about just establishing businesses, establishing credit, learning how to use the bank for their loan, for their system, for their for their financial gain.
But like I ain't gonna lie, what I noticed about the bank, they fear people that come with their own money. They want you to be in debt with them.
Yeah.
You know, they want you to be in debt with them. They know if you mess up, they're going to try to take everything you got.
That's exactly right. That's right. And let me ask you something, man. How have your relationships with friends or the community changed since you've been home?
It's going to change a lot. Like, I don't distance myself from a lot of people, you know, but I don't gain a lot of good people in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, I don't put myself around the right people now. Like, so A lot of people, a lot of people don't like the fact I even made it home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, so I don't really, and you can feel when people genuinely love you and genuinely, you know what I mean? Like, so I still work with people I don't feel comfortable with no more. I ain't forcing no relationships with people, even if they somebody I grew up with. I'm not forcing none of that no more. But I got some. I don't met some good people that really love me for me. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So
that's right.
That's where I'm at right now. Like I'm just like, because I'm a genuine person. If I deal with you, I deal with you. If I love you, I love you. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. And, I'm not with all that. So I've been staying away from people that.
This call is from the North Carolina Correctional Facility.
I started there so long being around people that, you know what I mean? We have to be around people that don't like us, that might want to do something to us as soon as we turn our back. Like, so it's like, out here I got a choice now. You know what I mean? I got a real choice now. I don't have to put myself around people that I know don't like me.
That's right.
And then I didn't have no choice. I just had to deal with it and just be prepared for whatever, if it came. But out here I got a choice. I don't got to put myself in no situation where I got to be ready. You know what I mean? In a sense, every day I wake up. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying, bro. I'm still living in it.
Right.
So, I definitely understand, especially with all, I done been through.
Right.
We done been in the same situations at times,
Mm-hmm.
Right there together.
Yep.
I definitely understand.
Yep.
So let me ask you this now. What role has forgiveness, whether of yourself or of others, played in your journey?
And like, I'm still working on self-forgiveness, bro. Honestly, like, in all honesty, I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
And I just now realized that the other day, when, you know what I mean? Because I've been going through some stuff, you know what I mean? So I just realized the other day, man, I'm still working on self-forgiveness, man. Like, it's like, and it's all behind my kids, man. Like, you know what I mean? That I left them in a situation where, you know what I mean? Like, they had to go through the stuff they went through, man. I ain't even gonna lie. And I just really realized that the other day, because my girl, she was like, you gotta stop feeling, you know what I mean? But she get over me because I don't whoop my kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, she was like, you gotta stop feeling like, you know what I mean? Like she don't understand. Like, you know what I mean? They're my kids.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I should have been there.
Yeah.
Even though, I was doing what I need to do for them and myself that put me in there. You know what I mean? But I still feel somewhat responsible for the things that happened with them, bro. You know what I mean? I ain't even gonna lie, because I wasn't there.
That's right.
So that's what I'm about. That's what I'm working on now, trying to forgive myself. You know what I mean? But it's hard because I don't, like, it's kind of been hard for me, in a sense. Honestly, it's been hard. But I'm still working on it, though. You know what I mean?
That's right. You just hold in there, my brother. Everything's gonna make sense, and it all needs to make sense. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, just hold in there, man, and continue to do what you're doing, my brother.
Yeah. So, but I'm getting there. You know what I mean? I don't forgive myself for the things that, But like I said, I'm working on forgiving myself for the things that happened to my kids while I was gone. That it's something that was out of my control. But it's like, what I done made it where they was in a position for that to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I'm getting there. You know what I mean? We all getting there. You know what I mean? So it's like.
Let me ask you, man, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners? Any final words of wisdom or encouragement?
I said, Love yourself. Like I said, keep applying pressure. Like I said, and make sure you got yourself structured before you walk out that gate. You know, make sure you got yourself structured.
Okay. Hey, man, I thank you for your honesty, your strength, and your willingness to share your story. Your voice adds to a larger movement for justice, restoration, and change. And I appreciate this interview for you, my brother. I definitely do.
Anytime.
Let me tell you something, man. At Behind the Walls Talk, we believe that lived experiences are the most powerful form of testimony.
Right.
And your journey is a reminder that redemption is real, second chances matter, and no one should be defined solely by their past. So we definitely honor your growth, your resilience, and your return. Your story may be the spark that inspires someone else to keep pushing forward. You inspire me, my brother, and I love you to death, man.
You already know it's always love,
my brother. And I appreciate you, man. And with that said, peace from Behind the Walls Talk.